The dimly lit arcade, amidst the cacophony of electronic beeps and the clatter of joysticks, Chica, the usually timid animatronic, found herself swept up in an unexpected surge of rhythm. The pulsating beats from the speakers seemed to sync with her mechanical heart, compelling her to move in ways she never had before. With each step, her joints creaked and groaned, but she danced on, her flippers flailing with a newfound grace. The crowd watched in awe as Chica twirled and leapt, her movements growing more frenetic by the second. But as the music reached its crescendo, so did Chica's exuberance. In a whirlwind of feathers and flashing lights, she spun out of control, crashing into the walls and ceiling with a resounding thud. The room fell silent, save for the soft rustling of feathers settling on the floor, a testament to Chica's wild night of dance. The dimly lit arcade, amidst the cacophony of electronic beeps and the clatter of joysticks, Chica, the usually timid animatronic, found herself swept up in an unexpected surge of rhythm. The pulsating beats from the speakers seemed to sync with her mechanical heart, compelling her to move in ways she never had before. With each step, her joints creaked and groaned, but she danced on, her flippers flailing with a newfound grace. The crowd watched in awe as Chica twirled and leapt, her movements growing more frenetic by the second. But as the music reached its crescendo, so did Chica's exuberance. In a whirlwind of feathers and flashing lights, she spun out of control, crashing into the walls and ceiling with a resounding thud. The room fell silent, save for the soft rustling of feathers settling on the floor, a testament to Chica's wild night of dance. Bonnie's eyes glowed with an eerie calm as the night crept in, his usual gentle demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos that would soon unfold. The security guard, unaware of the impending storm, strolled past with a casual air, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. Suddenly, a surge of energy coursed through Bonnie's circuits, his movements becoming erratic and frenzied. With a speed that defied his mechanical nature, he lunged forward, his once placid form now a blur of motion. The guard's heart raced as he realized the danger. Bonnie was no longer the docile figure he knew but a force to be reckoned with, propelled by an unseen power that left him breathless and terrified. Foxy, the pirate Fox, found himself in a predicament aboard his beloved animatronic ship, the SS Whiskerbeard. With a creak of wood and a groan of gears, he swung his hook with all his might, hoping to dislodge himself from the tangled mess of ropes and pulleys. But alas, each wild swing only ensnared him further, his bushy tail whipping through the air like a flag in a storm. The ship groaned in sympathy, its wooden beams echoing Foxy's frustration as he realized that freedom was not going to come easy today. In the eerie glow of the moon, Monty Gator, the notorious villain from the FNAF series, found himself in a predicament unlike any other. While attempting to escape the clutches of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, he had climbed a towering oak tree, only to realize too late that his escape route was blocked by a swarm of bees. As he flailed his arms in panic, the bees buzzed angrily around him, and Monty's attempts to free himself only made matters worse. With each desperate leap, he found himself entangled further in the branches, his once fearsome growl now a pitiful squeak. The night was filled with the sounds of his struggle and the relentless hum of the bees, as Monty Gator became an unexpected spectacle for the nocturnal creatures of the forest. As the night wore on, Monty Gator's situation seemed dire. However, in a twist of fate, a group of raccoons, drawn by the commotion, decided to lend a helping hand. With their nimble paws and clever minds, they devised a plan to distract the bees. One by one, they tossed shiny objects into the air, creating a dazzling display that caught the bees' attention. Seizing the opportunity, Monty made a daring leap from the tree, landing safely on the ground as the raccoons cheered him on. Grateful for their assistance, Monty vowed to repay their kindness with a promise to never terrorize Freddy Fazbear's Pizza again. And so, under the watchful eyes of the moon, an unlikely alliance was formed in the heart of the forest. In the whimsical world of Monty Gators, where bubbles reigned supreme, Monty and Roxy were frolicking in a meadow, their laughter mingling with the gentle hum of nature. With a flick of her wrist, Roxy sent a shimmering bubble soaring into the sky, its iridescent surface reflecting the sun's golden rays. But this was no ordinary bubble, it was a magical creation, one that ensnared Monty within its glistening walls. As he struggled to break free, the bubble expanded, enveloping him in a cocoon of iridescence. Roxy watched with wide eyes, her heart racing with a mix of fear and excitement. Would Monty be able to escape the enchantment of her bubble, or was he destined to become a permanent part of the bubble's ever-growing tapestry? In the whimsical world of Monty Gators, a playful day turned topsy-turvy when Monty and Roxy were frolicking with bubbles. Roxy, with a mischievous twinkle in her eye, crafted a bubble so large and so soapy that it ensnared Monty within its shimmering walls. Just as panic began to set in, their friends Freddy and Chica swooped in, armed with their own bubble-blowing prowess. With a few expert puffs, they burst the bubble, setting Monty free. Grateful and relieved, Monty embraced Freddy in a tight hug. Curiosity piqued, Roxy inquired about the soapy predicament. Monty chuckled, explaining he must have been coated in soap residue from his bath, an oversight that led to his unexpected bubble prison. The group shared a hearty laugh, but the laughter soon turned into playful retribution as they all conspired to trap Roxy in a bubble of her own. As she found herself encased in the soapy sphere, Monty's laughter echoed through the air, a reminder that even the best of friends can find themselves in a bubble of trouble. The enchanting world of Monty Gators, adventures are as plentiful as the bubbles they blow. Here's a glimpse into their next escapade. The Great Bubble Race. Monty, Roxy, Freddy, and Chica decided to host the Great Bubble Race, a contest to see who could blow the biggest and most stable bubble. The rules were simple. Use only natural ingredients found in their swampy home. The competitors gathered around, each with their own secret recipe for bubble solution. As the race began, bubbles of all shapes and sizes floated through the air. Monty's bubble was a perfect sphere, Roxy's was a giant teardrop, Freddy's was a bubble within a bubble, and Chica's was a bubble that seemed to dance on its own. The crowd cheered as the bubbles grew larger and more impressive. But just as the race was reaching its climax, a sudden gust of wind swept through the swamp. The bubbles began to pop one by one, except for one, Chica's dancing bubble. It twirled and spun, dodging the wind with grace. In the end, Chica's bubble won the race, but it was Monty's sportsmanship that truly won everyone's hearts. He congratulated Chica with a big hug and suggested they all celebrate with a bubble bath under the moonlight. And so, they did. As they soaked in the warm water, surrounded by bubbles that sparkled like stars, they knew that no matter what adventures lay ahead, they would always have each other to rely on. The Great Bubble Race became a legendary tale in Monty Gator's swamp, inspiring many more adventures to come. In the whimsical world of So Monty and Freddy, a peculiar mud puddle appeared out of nowhere, its surface shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Monty, ever the curious one, approached it cautiously, while Freddy, with his usual skepticism, followed at a distance. As they neared, the mud began to pulsate and rise, enveloping them in a sticky embrace that lifted them off their feet. Monty struggled against the mud's grip, his arms flailing as he attempted to free himself and Freddy. But the more he fought, the tighter the mud held them, trapping them up to their waists. With a resigned sigh, Freddy looked at Monty and said, "Well, this is one for the books." And so they stood there, stuck in the strange mud puddle, waiting for an adventure to unfold. The origin of the mysterious mud puddle in So Monty and Freddy's story is left to the imagination, as it serves as a magical element that propels the narrative forward. It could be the work of a mischievous fairy, a spell gone awry, or perhaps a natural phenomenon unique to their world. The true creator remains a delightful mystery.